Last year I was absolutely infested in my garden with slugs. These hostas, which look so bright right now, they were absolutely decimated. And I went around lots of junk shops buying like old oven racks and things to try and elevate things into ways that slugs couldn't get to. I bought this lovely rock plant, and well, you can't see that it has a few flowers, but I moved it to a position where the slugs have got into it, and I'm like literally combing through it, like combing my kid's hair, trying to find any little slugs. Here's one. Oh my god, little, and they hide in there. Yeah, I'm ruthless about them now, and you know, for me, this is a little metaphor for how I am in my business right now, because I'm coming through trying to find where are the areas where there's been a difference between what I believe, what I value, and what I do. And you know, one of those areas is trying to match the discrepancy with how I eat, actually. And I do eat and overeat. I guess I eat randomly and sort of have these little tiny bursts of compulsion. You know, if I have a bar of dark chocolate in the house, I'll sort of still eat to get it out the house, as if with a binge echo, actually. Although I wouldn't think of myself as being a binge eater anymore, I definitely am still an emotional eater, and still would not call myself not an overeater. So teaching people the tools to cope with overeating, to lessen it, sometimes feels like a hypocrisy, and yet it also feels like over the last 10 years I've gathered so many tools, and when I'm off track, I have a place to go, and I never had a place to go originally. I think back to what worked or what feels inspiring, and I feel like living as a sort of post-overeater, as somebody with an overeating vulnerability, I have a kind of lifelong journey here where I have to kind of stay engaged and I have to stay inspired. And the idea of offering a solution where there's like a life afterwards where you don't have to worry about it anymore and you can get on with other stuff, that's not my reality. And just kind of feeling like in our business we're often asked to talk about pain points and talk about solutions, and actually it's a lot more grey than that. It's like how do I live the messy, chaotic, how do I navigate being the messy, chaotic part of myself, and kind of stop that part of myself becoming a source of self-hate or lack of confidence, and stop that part of myself becoming a reason to hide, and at the same time lessen that happening, so that I feel more like I'm making self-controlled or decisions that are in my own personal interest, with a sense of like I'm in my power when I can make a decision to not eat something as well. And how can I maximize that? So sometimes returning to some of the things that I used to do, like planning a little bit, ways of holding myself, and not just trying to be a completely spontaneous, totally intuitive eater, which is kind of actually requires a little bit more routine and holding for me.